was trying to get to know each other. I thought we was being honest, and it kind of just threw a little curveball with me because I feel like we had deeper conversations.
A certain age.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I don't know. There's a lot of mystery going on with you.
So ask the question.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Yes, we're talking to you guys about Ready to Love. Yes, it was a great episode, wasn't it? I think it was a great episode. What about you? I thought it was a great episode. It was good. We saw a lot of different things on this particular episode. We saw True and NAEEM going back at it again once more about these Google phone numbers. And actually, there's a lot of, I call it passion aggression, okay? Passion aggression between NAEEM and True. We also had True having back-to-back with Khalil, trying to be mysterious about her age. I needed to kill that mysteriousness. It was annoying. We also saw Fritz and SAHARA. Unfortunately, the Sahara Desert did not come through. Fritz wasn't buying. Fritz wasn't impressed. Fritz, listen, he literally defines that term. If he wanted to, he would. And then Fritz had a conversation with COLEY. COLEY let him know that she's called her interest on Fritz because she believes that he may be poly. So, I mean, because of the hashtags, you know, she's a little bit hypervigilant. And you know what I mean? Just a little bit hypervigilant that she was stalking him on social media. Then obviously COLEY had a date with Jay, and Jay was maybe not putting a hole in one per se, but definitely wasn't a par two. And I think these two obviously started to hit it off. There was some good conversation that was happening around the table, and it seemed like a really good vibe. I can't lie to you. And I'm gonna have to turn these lights on because they're a little bit too bright. They are a little bit too bright. But it was good to also see that, right? So we got to see, Cam open up to the group of Tay, Rocky, Hussein as well. He opened up and we finally understood where he was coming from, right? And we finally got to understand what was actually going on with Cam and why he's so kind of reserved. In that space, I think what we saw with Cam was him, finally opening up. Like a flower. And speaking of flowers, we didn't have Rose, who really opened up. Okay, Rose really opened up. She opened up to a point where she actually started telling us about the fact that every man cheated on her. I didn't like that. Okay, Rose, we're gonna have to reframe that. Okay, we don't like being cheated on by everybody. Let's reframe that a little bit, change it a little bit. Because when you tell everybody that you've been cheated on, it never goes down well. Okay, so we're going to have to reframe that a little bit. Okay, and then we got to see as well, KIARA. Okay, KIARA told us a little bit more about, her baby daddy situation. Can I be honest with you? Jay, if you're there, if you're listening to me, prison baby daddies, before you enter and commit, you might want to make sure the courtyard is free. Because let me tell you this now, you're going to get yourself in some trouble. Okay, before you know it, you're in some trouble. So I would honestly be looking out for that for Jay. He needs to be very careful about that, as well. So that's another situation that was happening. And then, we got to see Cam kind of open up Ciara and say, like, he understood her, even though she was a bit more, closed off, he understood her and she wants her to do more. But Ciara told us, listen, she's going to be who she's going to be. And listen, if Ciara wants to be who she's going to be, she's going to find out every week that she's going to be on the bottom. Because you need to change that. I can't lie to you. Some of the behaviors, just tone it down a little bit. You know what I mean? All right? It's a little political. All right, listen. There's a lot to unpack on this particular episode, and I can't wait to do it with you guys as well. So do me a massive favor, if you're here and you're in this room, like this live for me first and foremost. If you're in this room and you're liking what we're doing, I want you to like the live. Second thing is, and I'm going to turn these lights on, so I'm going to just put this picture up, is I want you guys to share the live if you can with a friend who needs to watch Ready to Love. And number 3, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to have to go members only. Have you got your membership? Because you're going to have to get this right. Let me just turn this down just a little. The light's a little bit bright. It's just a little bit bright. There we go. Okay. Because I had the lights on all the way up. Yeah, there we go. Listen, my color was looking too bright. Yeah, I'm saying to you. Yeah, I was out here looking like a Simpson. But listen, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, and you are subscribed to the live. If you have not joined the membership, it's about to go members only. I'm just going to let you know now. So listen, for those of you who are here, if you're not a member, there is a $, $sign at the bottom of the chat. Just click on it and say join membership. If not, I will send a link in the chat for you so you can also join the membership. But you might have to change your device so you can actually do it. Because we around here, we like to have our members only kind of conversations around here. Is that all right? Am I all right to do that? Okay. Woo. Maybe. Also forgot Diona actually had a conversation with Khalil, which it was all right. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't learn as much apart from the fact Khalil's been in African school, but we'll discuss that on this particular live. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna break things down because there's a lot to get into in the next few moments. So let me just put this in the chat as well, so you guys are also involved in it. Oh, thank you very much, Ari. We appreciate you. We appreciate Ari all the time. Let me just appreciate you, Ari. You know what the time is.
The new king.
Thank you very much, Ari. We appreciate you. Always a blessing when people share the love and gift memberships to other people. Remember, it's £1, it's $1. I've made it really cheap so you guys can enjoy and be a part of the festivities as well. Okay, so let's get into this. Because I'm really looking forward to breaking down some of this stuff in this episode as well, because there was a lot that happened that just needed to be discussed. You know what I mean? Like, it just needed to be discussed. And broken down. So we're going to start with True NAEEM. I'm probably going to work myself a little bit backwards because I didn't read the cam stuff, but I want to do the cam and NAEEM stuff and break it down. Hey, we got some new members coming in. Thank you, Minx. The QT, it's a pleasure as well to have you on the team as well. We're about to go members only, so if you've not become a member, please do, because we are going to have a members only chat in here, and so you won't be able to comment your funny, crazy, real kind of comments in the chat. You will have to wait for the replay, and even then we won't be there. Okay, so let's get into this members only. Boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, let's get the show going. Let's get it going. I'm gonna drop a little intro on this buffer. You know what time it is. 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 Time it is.
I told you words.
Oh, okay.
Are you not understanding?
I was like, damn, I was looking forward to working out with you.
Aw. So how long was the circuit?
How long was you late?
NAEEM, you gotta let it go. So I'm here.
Ooh, passion, aggression. Listen, we had True and NAEEM go at it today on this particular episode. And I wanted to say that there's a lot of things going on between the two of them. Both of them are passive, aggressive communicators, okay? All right? When you are late to an event, the first thing you do is you apologize for being late. Now, we didn't get to see that from True. Right? Now, maybe she did it and they cut that part out. But when she first came in, she did not apologize. Right? She almost made it as if it was a favor she was doing him by turning up. And the problem that we have with this is that later on in the episode, when we see True talking with Khalil, she actually explains, she actually gets a bit tasty with her response about NAEEM. She goes on, that guy with the 5 kids and 3 baby mothers. Well, if you weren't really feeling him, why are you even stressing yourself in the very beginning with the Google number? You know what I'm saying to you? Like, that level of disrespect, if you don't like him, you don't rate him, that's okay. That's not a problem. But why are we having this conversation to a place where now you are being disrespectful in a sense, right? I get it. 5 kids, 3 baby mothers is not something that I want any woman to really be involved in if that's not for you. But my thing is, you turned up to an event late. There were other people who were there, and he let you know that he wanted to spend time with you. So if you didn't want to spend time with him, you should have said, I don't want to spend time with you. Otherwise, why are we making a big deal about him not calling you? You know what I'm saying to you? Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't be giving her Google numbers. You know what I'm saying to you? But that's for her to do, right? Let's play a bit more of the clip. So we can actually see what else they were saying, because we're gonna break this all the way down, because there's a lot that was being said in that immediate moment.
Here now, and we're here.
Okay.
So I really haven't heard from you.
As far as
Okay, so they're discussing about why they haven't heard from each other. Can I just say this? I want to break it down from the very top of the conversation. This is what was actually had and said. She didn't offer an apology, number one. But number two, when he said about about her coming, etc. She said, why she didn't tell up on time. She said, are you not understanding? Now the tone, the tilt of the head was condescending, it was rude, and it was disrespectful. The person asked why you weren't here, and you said, are you not understanding? Yes. They didn't hear you the first time, maybe they didn't register what you said the very first time. But to say it in the way that she did was condescending and disrespectful. Okay, and it showed us her own disposition. Sometimes when you're shooting somebody else, you don't realize it tells us about you and how you behave in general. Now, if you didn't like him, you didn't have to interact with him. You could have let him know that you weren't interested beforehand, but you didn't do that because you're still playing the game, and I get it, I hear it, but then don't let your mask slip so quickly. Number two, he was petty and also was being passive aggressive when he also then responded by saying, that how long? What she asked, how long was it? How did the session go? And he was like, how long was you late? Right? And so that pettiness also showed me about NAEEM. You got that petty bone in you too, right? That you can't control your emotions in that immediate moment. I know you were hurt. Rather, you should have told her, I feel hurt. Right? He should have let her know that he felt hurt by what she was saying. But instead, he decided to go for the warfare and reply back to her what she was giving him. Now, you know how I've been feeling about this recently. I've been telling y'all about leadership, and when it comes to men, about the way that we have to lead. We can't lead in the same way that women, you can't respond in the same way that a woman responds to you. If she responds with the passive aggressiveness, you got to be direct. And he should have nailed it early on and said, listen, I hear you, but the way you're responding to me, it sounds rude, it sounds condescending. You've tilted your head as if I'm not understanding what you're saying. Right, and it makes me feel like you're almost kind of shooting me a little bit here, right? Like if you were late and you didn't turn up on time, all I would expect for you to do is apologize and move on from that. But instead, you decided to be condescending and rude about it. That's what he should have said to handle her. Instead, he joined her in the madness. How can I expect you to be better if I'm going to join you in your madness and say to you, there's a better way to do things? Well, if there was, why didn't you do it? Now, he was really feeling hurt because he said to her he was really looking forward to seeing her. Fair. That's a real thing. You were really looking forward to seeing this young lady who you liked. Cool. Say that to her, what you did. But then you can't then join her in the passive aggressive behaviors. Okay? All right? So he should have checked her with a comment, let her know that he felt some type of way, and that's it. Now, her asking about the fact, why don't I receive calls? This is another conversation, another issue. Let's have a little conversation about it.
What, today?
As far as I gave you my number, which
You gave me the Google Doc number.
No.
Why did you give me a fake number?
Nobody gave you a fake number.
What was that?
So
That was a...
Okay, so her giving it a Google number, let's be very honest. True, stop playing the game. Okay? You gave the Google True number because you didn't trust him. Right? Or you didn't want him. Right? And the reason why I say this is because when you go later on at the very end, her conversation with Khalil, what she says is, when Khalil was telling her about the fact that, when he tells her about the fact that, in a situation with NAEEM, okay, right? He said obviously you gave the wrong number out, and she said, yeah, but did I give the wrong number to you? Oh, so you know you gave him the wrong number. So you know you didn't give him the true number that you need to give him, right? So of course, him receiving a Google Docs number is going to be in a place where he's going to feel some frustration and is going to feel disrespected. So I get it. But at the same time, you've got to own what you did true. This gaslighting that she tends to do is actually kind of problematic. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on, because she actually tried to gaslight Khalil. And I was so surprised. I said, wait, darling, how are you gaslighting Khalil about him asking about your age? Then I realized that True is a problem. Because True doesn't have the self-awareness yet to notice what behavior she's actually exhibiting. Now, maybe she has later on. Maybe later on she has. But the reality of the situation is that the way she acted was the exact same way she did with Jay. She was on the button, on the thing. She immediately pressed Jay from the first episode about him and his dating preferences and dating experiences. She was the exact same way, hot press and straight on him. And the same behavior is being exhibited here. Right? We're seeing the same thing here. Now, this aspect of dealing with I didn't receive calls. Now, they both were a problem here. Again, they were both being passive aggressive in their behaviors. If I call you and you send question mark after I call you, okay, then yes, I'm going to be wondering what the hell was this about. But you know what I'm going to do when I'm curious? I'm going to message you again and say, hey, what does this mean when you say question mark? Now, she was also being a very poor communicator, as was he. Let's listen a bit more.
Business number. You show up late to wave and we didn't really get a chance to connect. And you're asking me why didn't I use your number, which I did, and it wasn't the real one. Yeah, you gave me a Google Doc number. I did call you.
So what does that have to do with the fact that...
Okay, so when they obviously spoke about their situation, she said that specifically he called and then she then messaged him back ... I mean, no, question mark. And then what she actually said was, it meant that I couldn't talk right now. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when you send a question mark when someone calls you, does that mean that that you can't talk right now? I want someone to type it in the chat for me. We've got 118 people in this room. I want you to type in the chat. If somebody sends you question mark, question mark, question mark, what would you interpret their message to mean? Just type in the chat for me. Let's see what we can see, right? So we can understand where people are coming from. If someone typed in question mark, question mark, question mark, after you called them, how would you interpret it? As far as I'm concerned, I would not interpret it as I can't talk right now. And that is what she said it was. Right? She said, oh no, what I meant it was that I can't talk right now. Is it? So why don't you say that? Why don't you message back saying I can't call right now? Right? That was all that needed to be said. It didn't mean to be difficult. It didn't need to be hard. But again, what True is trying to do is be mysterious. Okay? True is trying to be mysterious, and it's not working for her because she doesn't know where to apply the mysteriousness to. There's a way that you apply mysteriousness. This is not where you apply it to. There's a way that you display mysteriousness. It's not in your age. That's not where you do the mysteriousness. Right? But she's incorrectly applied mystery. Oh, let's listen a bit more.
I still don't receive texts, phone calls, or anything.
When I called you the other day, you gave me 3 questions.
Yes, because I cannot talk.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But then you read it and you have not responded.
Now, here's where this is where NAEEM also messed up. Because when you read it, why didn't you reply? You see what I'm saying to you? Both of you are playing these games, and this is why it's not gonna be healthy in your relationships. You see, something happened to me whilst I was in Ghana. Some things happened to me, right? With some ladies, let's call it that, right? Where the situation didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Here's what I did. I followed up, I called, and I said, listen, hey, let me explain some things because I don't like the way it's going. If I like someone to talk to me, I like consistency, I like this, I like that. And when you do X, Y, and Z, this doesn't work for me. Now, if you can do that, fantastic. If you can't, let's leave it where it is. It's okay. We don't have to stress ourselves. Now, why did I do that? Because I want to let the person know that I'm going to be a communicator. I'm not scared about feeling like I'm going to be played. I'm going to let you know this is where I stand. This is what I'm with. If you're with it, fantastic. If you're not, let's not do it. Why? Because it saves the trouble later on to say there's miscommunications. You see, you know, when you do that enough times, you know when people are playing with you and when people are not being genuine and real. But if you then leave it at it is, where she put question mark, you don't follow up and say, what does that mean? Then you're also in the same mud as you're about to throw at the other person. You can't throw it from where you are because you are in the same mud. We're both muddy together. Okay? And so that comes with you actually really not being afraid to actually tell the truth about how you feel. And True, what she needs to stop doing is putting the blame on NAEEM. You are both in the mud. You're both doing things incorrectly, and you're both actually not communicating very well. And it's part of the immaturity, but it's also part of the emotional immaturity, and it's a lack of communicational skills. And this is not going to be healthy in a relationship if you want it to survive. So it doesn't matter whether you do it for NAEEM or you do it for Khalil. It's not a good way to exhibit relationships. Okay, let's move on to Khalil and True, because obviously at the very end she then spoke to Khalil, and I felt like she was doing the most in this situation, which didn't need to happen. Okay, let's have a little look at Khalil and True.
Okay.
Definitely the groans, but like, I mean,
Well, that's a very easy question to answer, and we're here to get to know each other. And I figured.
Okay, so Khalil asked her how old she was. Okay, all right. Khalil asked her how old she was, and it should have been a simple reply to say, yeah, I'm 35, right? But instead of her replying that she was 35, she decided to be mysterious. Okay, she wanted to be mysterious. She wanted to play a little bit of the game where, you know, she was trying to show that, you know, she had a bit of mystery, but it just made her look silly, right? And it's because she put mystery on something. It wasn't delivered well. That's what I want to say. It wasn't delivered well, because you can do mystery even on age, but it has to be delivered in a particular way, right? She could have been like, well, listen, you can never ask a lady her age. But, you know, she could have made it a bit more, but she didn't do that. And her tone, her energy doesn't allow for that. Before that point, what she actually did, before she got to that point, right, in that space, she was also saying that some of the guys have not responded well to her because she's so intentional. And I was like, really? Are they not responding to you because you're intentional, or is it because you're hot and heavy-handed? Sometimes you think it's other people, but it's the way that you respond. You're heavy-handed in the way that you deal with things, right? Let's go to the conversation between her and Khalil.
So ask the question.
How old are you?
35.
All right. See, that was easy.
Simple, exactly.
That was easy.
Like,
It could have
ask
been
the
easy.
question.
I did though.
But I told you.
Now pause. She just gaslit that man. She just said, listen, he asked her how old she was. She was like, why didn't you ask the question? I did. So you're gaslighting him in that sense. You're lying. He asked you in the gym how old you were, and you decided to play a game. And now, when I'm holding you accountable by saying I did actually tell you, I did actually ask you what your age is, she decides to now flip the script and say, why didn't you ask? And see, I've seen this behavior before. It's unaccountable behavior. And when you're unaccountable in this space, more than likely it's how you also date. Because we've seen this in 2 spaces with her. She puts the blame on other people. She wants to point the finger. And now you're being unaccountable for things that you actually said. Right? So, sis, if he asks your age, just say your age. If you're going to eventually say it at the very end. Otherwise, don't then throw it back in the other person's face. What that then shows is that you are trying to make the other person a problem, and really and truly, you are the problem. Again, I need True to just be a little bit self-reflective and look at it differently. Sis, you should have just simply just said, hey, can I be honest with you? Like, I messed up. I made a mistake. Men love women, okay? Men love women that are actually accountable. And one thing I've noticed, and this is me just kind of, again, just noticing that both men and women can be unaccountable. This is not simply a gender thing. But when some women are unaccountable, just like some men, what they end up doing is they flip the script. So instead of just saying, hey, like I messed up, they want to get you to shift the blame. And actually, for men specifically, when a woman's able to say, listen, my bad, I got it wrong, I was the one that, made a mistake here, men actually find them very much more endearing. They're far more endearing about women that they're like, oh my God, like you made a mistake and you said sorry? And this is why the joke goes around that men are like, well, women actually apologize? Women and accountability? It's not because they're red pill. It's because that a lot of times men have dealt with women and they're not actually sorry. They will tell you a story before they get to the story. And so that's the only thing. So sometimes just being able to be humble enough to be like, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. My bad. You know what I mean? Okay. And then in this situation, she was pretty much kind of coming at Khalil here.
I thought we was trying to get to know each other. I thought we was being honest, and it kind of just threw a little curveball with me because I feel like we had deeper conversations. Yeah.
Now, she reacted the same way with Khalil about him, what he said, as she did about NAEEM. And pretty much also called out NAEEM in front of Khalil. And actually said the guy with 5 kids and three baby mothers, which I thought was quite rude to say it right there and then when you're being rejected. When you're being told you're being eliminated. Gives a little bit bitter. But in that space, what's also important is that she did the same thing that she did to NAEEM that she did to Khalil. Khalil came the right way and was just trying to explain what the fellas were saying, and she still came at him. So it's not about people coming at her correctly. That is her actual issue. Maybe she doesn't take too well with rejection, I don't know, but she's going to have to work on that because that is not going to hold. It's not going to work for her long term as well, okay? So we're going to leave that there and we're going to move on to another couple. Let's go up Fritz and Sahara really quickly. It's a bit more lighter, but they also had a date as well, and it didn't go according to plan with obviously Fritz and Ciara in that space. Let's play a little bit of the clip and you'll see as well. Okay.
Today, you responded in 3 different text messages, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
So the next day, I asked you, how was your day?
Yep.
And you sent me the exact same
thing.
I'm
Yeah.
talking all 3 of them.
I'm consistent.
Yeah, Fritz, you're not consistent. You just don't want her, and I need you to be honest about that. But I get it. You're playing a game. Fritz didn't want her. It's that simple. Fritz didn't want her. If a man wants to, he would. Let me tell you this now. A man wants to, he would. The problem with Sahara with Fritz is that Fritz doesn't like her energy. Fritz doesn't like the fact that she's so out there, boisterous, bodacious, to be so ostentatious with her energy. Rambunctious is how he described her. I think what he's really saying is that she's brash and her mouth is a little bit crude. And so it's a bit much for him. So I think he it does not align with her at all. Okay, so he's finding it difficult to even try to interact with her. Now it's really interesting because Cam managed to get deeper with Sahara to a point where he understood her a bit better, I guess, but Fritz hasn't found that space to do so. Now, does that mean he's wrong for doing so? No, it is a game at the end of the day as well, which is also a point. But do I believe that Sahara is a bit too much? Yes. I think she's a little bit too much. I think she is a little bit too much. I think her mouth sometimes is a little bit potty. She can be a little bit loud, but she's for somebody. And it's not like it's bad. It's more of a case of it's just not for a lot of people. And the difficulty is that people are going to think about, how can I bring her home to my parents? How can I bring her home? How can I bring her around the boys? How can I bring her around some of my friends, my people? Them probably can't, because she's going to be a little bit loud, a little bit rambunctious. People are going to be questioning me and my particular brand if I bring her in. And we know this already because we saw her in the first episode. And the way she responded in this situation with Fritz, almost like as if she wanted... I was confused. I thought I didn't think Sahara would be almost begging for votes. I was like confused. I thought, wait. I didn't think Sahara would be begging for votes. I thought Sahara was going to hold it down. So it's very different. So I guess maybe that rambunctious, ostentatious energy that she carries is actually more of a mask. As Cam was saying, that she is a little bit more softer underneath, because the way that she was almost pleading here with our boy Fritz for the votes. Okay, all right.
You know what? I like consistency.
Sahara's energy and personality is a lot.
And that's a key point. Her energy is a lot. It's too much for him. Okay? It's a little bit too much for Fritz. And that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Let's move it on, because I don't want to talk too much. I mean, if a man wants to listen, again, for anybody out there, if a man really wants to, he would. Honestly, her asking about why he's not texting her, because he doesn't want to. He don't want to. Okay? If he's texted you the same thing for the last 3 days, he ain't changing. He ain't even called you, he ain't changing. You've tried on 3 occasions, don't even ask for an explanation. He ain't trying. You know what I mean? He ain't trying. And pass it up, because he ain't trying to change. Okay? He ain't trying to change at all. Since we're obviously talking about Fritz, we'll move on to Fritz and COLEY. I think that's really important to discuss. There's a deeper issue here I think we need to discuss with COLEY and Fritz. As well. So let's discuss them really quickly as well. All right, let's have a look.
I looked at your Instagram and I saw you were following hashtags about poly life. And me personally, I'm looking for a monogamous relationship. Okay,
so obviously COLEY was calling out Fritz. And let me be very honest with you. Hypervigilance, hashtag we see you, hashtag poly. Not gonna like you. Okay, look, the realist aspect of the situation is, whilst I understand where COLEY's coming from, this is given hypervigilance. Okay, it's given hypervigilance because, one, when you went to search the hashtags, okay, and you saw poly, you made a judgment, and then you brought the judgment to him. Okay, then you are bringing a judgment to him. So what I believe that you should be doing in that space is, if you do that, okay. All right, you're going to do the research. I hear it. Sometimes reserve your judgment. See, when people are too quick to throw their judgment, it tells me there's usually an insecure attachment attached to it. All right? When you are so quick to add a judgment to something before inquiring and really having a tone of inquiry, this is where your problem is going to come from. Now, a lot of people are going to say, and I'm sure women will be like, we can't trust men these days. They're on a DL. They're on a da. Yeah, no. When she came in, she made a judgment. And that's the issue. She had already made a judgment in her mind and a conclusion. That's where you're going wrong. If you want to inquire, your tone and the words you use are very important. And it's okay to ask questions because you're trying to understand something, right? If I say, listen, hey, look, I saw that, some hashtags about poly. Is poly your lifestyle? Is that something that you're interested in, right? That's me asking. You know what I'm saying to you, right? But if I say I'm looking for a monogamous relationship, immediately you've told us, that actually you've made a judgment about me. And actually, Fritz, what he said was very important when he said, hold on a minute, I have hashtags for other things that I search. Now, I don't really search hashtags that much unless I'm on Twitter and I'm trying to find out something about a show. But hey, right? She may be right. You know what I'm saying to you? She may be right. she actually may be right, but the problem is it is the motivation behind why you're asking and why you're making the judgment you are. It's always about the motivation. You may get the right answer at the end when it comes to math. If you got the wrong math, it's all good. It's all well and good for now, but there'll be another question where your math working out is wrong and it will lead you to a wrong answer. So today you're right, but tomorrow you could be wrong. So what I needed for Coley to do was just slow it down a little bit. Don't allow the hypervigilance to overwhelm you, okay? To a point where you're running to judgment, you know? And so I was looking at it and I was like, why does someone go to a space of hypervigilance? What is making you go to a space of hypervigilance? Well, immediately she did that. I said, well, then you got past traumas and past betrayals. Okay? If you're doing that, there's past trauma and past betrayal. And maybe you've been cheated on, maybe you've been deceived, maybe you've had DL men in the past, maybe there's some trust issues. Right? Because immediately you answer that question, it shows me what angle you're coming from. And so I understand that that maybe you've gone through some stuff, and so your mind is working in a space of trying to detect the danger, but that's a hypervigilance. And so that leads to you wanting to check your social media and check for clues of dishonesty. You're already starting from a place of debt. You're already looking for a problem. Right? You're already looking for a problem. And that's the angle we have to look at it. Okay? If I'm looking for it. The second thing is, I can understand that there may be a fear of being played. And so sometimes we're trying to prevent a situation happening. I'm the same way. I'm the same way, but I've had to change, right? And I'm still changing because I'm trying to be better at it. But when you have an insecure attachment, this is what happens. When you have an insecure attachment, this is what ends up happening. When you're insecure, what you tend to do is that you tend to always try and test people. Oh, is my mic cutting out a little bit? Okay, hold on. It's because I'm too loud. 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Is it still cutting out? Oh, apologies, guys. Sorry. I think my microphone was picking up too much noise and it cut out. So I do apologize. Let me know. Is it okay, guys? Let me know. Is the sound okay? Because I think it was cutting out. I think because it was too loud. I was talking too loudly into the mic. Okay, so just saying what I was saying beforehand. Going back to what I was saying, the hypervigilance that we have from Coley in this particular space, what she's experiencing is that there is an aspect that you're dealing with probably from past betrayal or past pain or past hurt. And one of the things is that you sometimes fear, that you're going to be hurt. You know what I'm saying to you? And so because you're fearing that you're going to be hurt, what can end up happening is that you end up trying to oversee things and trying to see into things. And this can then play into you making actions that are actually contrary to the actual results that you want. So you're consistently trying to see a problem. That's the hypervigilance. You don't want that. Okay? You don't want that aspect. Okay? So social media now then becomes your tool of research about how you look into things. And so you're looking at someone's likes, their comments, their follows, and etc., which is what Coley ended up doing. And this puts you in investigation mode rather than putting you in a space of actually being a person who's observing and learning. And a good clue is when you can't hold it and you immediately rush into it. What is going on? Hold on. Hold on, 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Is it still choppy? Let me know if it's still choppy. I don't want it to be choppy because I think my internet is playing out like there's no tomorrow. Is it clearer now, guys? Okay, sorry. I think I need to I don't know what's going on with the internet. Something's playing up at the moment. But yeah, forgive me on that one as well, guys. I think try and put my echo on just so that's no noise behind me. Okay, cool. Should be better now. Okay. All right, cool. So, someone said I should sing. Hallelujah. All right, cool. Back to what I was saying, obviously, as well. So, yes. So, being back to this position again, you know, I think that she had every right to go and research. I understand that her intuition and her instinct would have been would have been working on her. Her instinct would have been saying, actually, something's not quite right. Like, I need to make sure that actually this is that I need to make sure that he's actually here for monogamous reasons. But the reality of the situation is, that, oh, am I still choppy? Yeah, my internet is crazy. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Anyway, let's hope it stays stable. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Let's hope it stays stable. Maybe I should put the mic up a little bit because it might be. Okay. So, as I was saying, yeah, so it may be a case of the fact that, the hypervigilance in this situation, right, is that she has an instinct and her intuition is what's playing a role in this situation, which is fine. Like, your intuition is a real thing. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, if you have intuition in a space, I understand that. It's the way that it's delivered. It's the way that it lands. It's the way that you actually, how do I say this? It's the way that you it's the way that you deliver it. You've got to be very, very cautious about the way you deliver it, because that's going to give us an indication of where your mind is at. Don't be too fast. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying to you. Don't be too fast. Don't be too quick. Don't be too ready. You know what I mean? Don't be too ready. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's what I'm saying in that particular aspect as well for COLEY and FRITZ. I think she has every right to research. Just be, just be chill. I get it. The modern day dating isn't easy to do. I get it. All right, let's move on. And hopefully my internet issues will not end this way, and we'll have a better way of dealing with things. Let's deal with KIARA and Jay as well. We'll deal with them again. Please let me know if my internet does fluctuate or go out again. I do appreciate you guys letting me know. We want to make sure we have a good show. Sometimes my internet likes to play up, so shoot. Let's go to KIARA and Jay and their situation, because I say KIARA and Jay, it's more KIARA because she let us know some things about her situation as well. Okay. All right, cool.
Kind of did it for you. My children's father, he is currently incarcerated. He will be coming home soon, but right now it is just me taking care of the kids. It's been 6 years.
Oh, good.
So
how you feeling now?
I'm good now.
Okay, so KIARA and Jay, I want to say this is really important. The difficulty in this situation, okay, is that KIARA has a baby daddy that is in prison, and we're not sure how he's going to behave when he comes out. She says she's done a lot of work. She's done a lot of work on herself. Fine. She has said that, she's worked a lot of things out. Fine. She said their co-parenting is great. Fine. But we don't know how he's going to be when he comes out of prison. Okay? This brother was a boxer or did some boxing and was, it seems like he did some things. Now, the difficulty behind that is that in that space, when someone is doing that, we can't trust that when he comes out, he ain't going to do it again. Like, how's he going to feel if another man is in his position playing the role of the father that he was not? How is he going to feel with you with another partner? This is where a lot of men are going to feel a struggle and they're going to be afraid to want to really entertain KIARA. The question they're going to ask themselves is there a risk of baby daddy drama? Right? Is there a risk that you're still emotionally and romantically attached? Yes, it's been 6 years, but he is the father of your kids, right? Some men are worried that, they're going to be arguments, fights, or threats. If there hasn't really been worked out this baby daddy situation, this could be an issue with, especially him being somebody who has gone to prison for some crazy things. I personally, I'm not comfortable. I don't know about y'all. Okay? There's a fear of possible reunion, of course, but I think it's also the fact that this co-parenting dynamic, how does it work? And it's different when he was in prison. It's going to work differently when he's out of jail. Right? Now they're going co-parenting. How would it work when he's in a physical presence? Would he want time? How does he want to have the kids? Like, how is he going to feel when he sees another man holding his child? I got some brothers have crushed out, even when they even see the stepdaddy and the child is calling the stepdaddy daddy. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, how's he gonna feel when he sees that son or daughter calling another man daddy if they're in a space? You know what I mean? No, El Cid is laughing, and El Cid's a real comment though. How much has she put in his books? It's real true. Is she still helping financially with him? Is she financially aiding him in any particular way? Because now we then got to ask the question, what happens when he comes out? Has he got a job lined up for him? Probably not. Okay, where is he going to stay? Financially, how's he going to handle himself? He may already have that sorted. I don't know. But the reality of the situation is, then is she going to have to financially support him in any particular way? If he's related to any gang activity, which I don't know if he is, I'm just saying it, then, you know, you got to wonder, is it going to blow back on me? You know, as a man entering into that space, you got to ask yourself some real questions before you enter that space. Now we know this. Right? The question is also too that she said she has to take some time to get over it. You know, does she lack a particular type of guy? And as a guy, you're gonna ask yourself, has she healed enough that she doesn't want that type of guy anymore? Right? Is there a pattern of men that she particularly likes? I don't know. Real spit, we don't know. And that can be a little bit problematic too. And that's the difficulty. Right? We have to also understand that there may be unstable emotional baggage. You know, you're going to deal with the stress and the emotions and the uncertainty of your baby daddy coming out. Yes, you had a relationship, but he was in jail. It was much better when you had him in jail. You knew where he was. He couldn't get out. Now he's out free and roaming. You know, is he going to? We don't know. Is he going to turn up at your house randomly? We don't know. Okay, we don't know, and that's why sometimes the wildest comment someone made is, you know, they want to date somebody who their baby daddy's completely out of the picture and been a deadbeat. And I kind of get it, because obviously the aspect of the relationship, when there is a father figure, a father figure in the play, it can make things more complicated. Of course, I don't want that to be the case, but I'm just saying, in this instance, yeah, we're going to be a little bit shook. We should be cautious before we tread. And if I'm Jay, I'd ask a lot more questions. I would try to find out a bit more of this information. Right? And find out where is her heart also, you know, and, you know, where is her mind at? I know she said she's done the work, but does she still want him? Does she still want a relationship with him? How does she see the dynamic of that relationship end up playing out later on? So just something to consider, you know what I mean, for Kiara going forward, and for Jay as well in that particular space. Quickly, let's talk about Eddie and Angie. I won't go too deep now. But Eddie and Angie are, you know, they had a little bit of a conversation, and I think it was good because they were talking about partnership. I love that they were talking about partnership as well, because I think it's always important to discuss partnerships when you're in a relationship, and how important they can be, especially in 2025, because the myth of a one man paying all the bills, not many men can afford to do that. A lot of men can't. Okay, it's a myth because it's not real for everybody. In most general, people are working together. So let's talk about Eddie and Angie. I'll play a little clip for you as well.
Yeah, too hard on you.
Okay.
I feel like Angie, you know, she stepped it up, but she just gave real partnership vibes. That's something that's big to me. So yeah, shout out to you, Angie. Just know I'm paying attention. And I see you, baby. I love you.
Okay, now listen, I don't know. Okay, he said, listen, he loves the fact that she's giving real partnership vibes, okay? And I think that's great. You know, in 2025, you know, partnership is what we need to be at. Of course, partnerships look different. Some are 80-20, some are 10-90, some are 90 and 5, some of them are 40-60. Just depends on what kind of partnership you're actually looking for. So it's on the two people to determine what kind of partnership they actually want and what kind of partnership they actually need. What do you want and what do you need? I think that's key. I think you need to determine that by having really in-depth conversations about what you see as a vision and as a goal and as a long-term relationship. And I think what we're seeing from these two is a good start to the conversation. Hopefully they've extended the conversation and gone deeper. I think what we see with Eddie and Angie, I was just about to come on to that, Blake, as well. The age gap is a little bit I'm wondering if that's going to be a stumbling block. Like I wonder if Eddie's just playing the game here. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but I want to be just entertaining her. But does he really consider her to be a life partner, with there being a much bigger age gap? He's 33 and she's 42, right? She's already, we already see that, you know, with Eddie, he, of course, seems to be a very mature individual, but a 9-year age gap, yeah. I love that Angie was able to be comfortable to a space where she could literally cozy up next to him.
How you was, being that partner with me on the grill. Yeah, I think that spoke a lot. I think it got elevated to.
And, you know, I love the fact that she was comfortable enough to lay on him and, you know, hug on him and everything. I love that. I think that was really cool. Now, the question I was asking is, obviously, you know, he said he wanted a partnership, and he said he loved the fact that she was on the grill. And I think men do love this, right? Men love women that are willing to support them. And it's all about the support, rather than you taking over, number one, or number two, rather than you wanting you to pay for everything or be involved in everything. It's not that case. I think men just want to know that the woman's going to be there. If everything goes to pot, she'll still support him. She'll still consider him to be the Superman in her life, right? And I think that is one of the biggest things for men. So when Eddie's saying about the partnership, it's like, I'm on the grill, I'm doing it, and you come and join me. It just shows that we're a team. And I think many people do want that, but maybe don't have that as much with people, right? Most people want somebody to be a part of their team and show them that when you're down, I'm down. When I'm up, I'm up. When you're left, I'm left. Like, I'm a ride or die with you without the ride or die. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel that as well. You know, I love that realness that I saw from them too. And I love that Angie can do that as well. It showed, right? Now, of course, people play the game in different ways. We saw that COLEY came over to talk to him on the grill. Maybe she didn't stay with him, that's why. But in that space, he loved the fact that she really supported him in that moment. So that's probably something that's very important to him, because those who cook together, they got to stay together as well, okay? All right, let's then move it on, because obviously Jay and COLEY had a date, and I thought it was a really good date. I thought it was nice. I thought I loved the fact they played golf, and you know, they enjoyed each other's company, and it was vibes.
Seem to be on a different level than the men who don't have kids.
So tell me, like, love though, like, you say you're here looking for love, right?
Yeah.
What makes you like know that that person is the person for you?
That's a really hard question to answer.
Okay.
All right, so COLEY and Jay were the unexpected kind of couple that would come out of this particular episode. Jay himself let us know that he wasn't checking for her like that. I mean, it wasn't his normal type. But when he got to know her, he realized actually she's really cool. She's down to earth. She's a vibe. She's got good energy, and thus he got to know her better. Okay, and so I thought she was really down to earth and cool in this episode. And again, I've said this before. I like this side of COLEY because previously what we saw was highly strong. When she was about to be rejected, she was highly strong and was like, doing the same thing that SAHARA did, which is like almost FU people. Now SAHARA, True, and COLEY all showed their asses when they're about to be kind of told that they weren't no longer on the show. So it told me that the rejection, the feeling of rejection, is probably a bit of an issue. But I loved COLEY on this episode, the same way I liked her last episode. That vulnerability is what makes people look beautiful. Well, to me anyway. And I think that vulnerability draws people to you. When you're able to be confident enough to be able to share your heart and share your thoughts, I love that. So when I saw COLEY today in Converses, you know, she's sharing and opening up. It's such a different side to her. She is a beautiful woman. You know, I like them dark, you know what I'm saying to you. But she is a beautiful woman. A very stunning woman at that, right? And she's gorgeous to look at. And sometimes you just want that mind to match.
A lot of people paint like pretty pictures and everything with their words, but I'm more like action oriented.
Okay.
How do you?
You know, I saw a little bit of a nerd in her today. You know what I'm saying? I saw a little bit of something a little bit different from her today. And I really enjoyed getting to see her in that light. And I think this is really powerful because when you open up yourself to be vulnerable and show people a different side of you, where you're not making jokes all the time, people really find themselves endeared to you. And, you know, look. And, you know, at one point she even extended her leg across the table or across the seat towards Jay. And I said, okay, she's showing that she's, you know, willing to have a conversation with him and willing to be open with him. And she's engaged. They've got eye contact, you know. They're pretty much sitting pretty close. I mean, they're not touching with knees or anything, but they're in close proximity where they're able to, you don't feel like she's recoiling or trying to run away. You know what I mean? The body language seems to be them leaning in. And so it doesn't feel like these two don't like each other, right? We can see that. It doesn't feel like they don't like each other. And so that was really powerful too. I love seeing that from the two of them as well. You know, and I think when Jay said, obviously, he found that she's more down to earth. She likes to drink. She likes to be cool. You know, show different sides of yourself. Don't be afraid to show up in a relationship as your full self. There are many people who are afraid to show the spectrum of who they are because of the fact that, you know, they're afraid that they'll be rejected. But this part of COLEY is what's beautiful. This part of COLEY is what makes COLEY. It's this part of COLEY that makes COLEY stand out from the crowd, because we're now starting to get to know her a bit more. You know what I'm saying to you? And if you can have that confidence from the very beginning, where you're able to show a part of yourself, yeah, people are gonna buy into you straight away. You know, a vast contrast from what we saw the very first episode, where she was cracking jokes every second. We saw the flower open up. You know, as Elsa said, yes, Jay made her feel safe, because and Jay seems to be having this effect where he's able to make people feel safe. I think because Jay, to be honest, as you guys have said, this is probably one of the realest casts we've actually seen in a long time. Like, usually when we see the cast, we see a cast of people that are just on here for TV and here for influencing. But what we're seeing from this particular cast, good or bad, they seem to be themselves. Let's just keep it real. Whether they're good or bad, they seem to be true to themselves, right? Pun intended there, I guess. But Jay's somebody who, again, you know, he's a talker. He's willing to share stuff about himself. He told her about him being a single dad. And she actually said that she actually liked the fact that he was sharing about him being a single dad, that it actually made her feel safe that he was a single dad and he was in the child's life and he had custody and stuff. So she even now felt more safe to be more of herself, knowing that he was in that space. And I think that's important. You know, like you guys are saying, I hope KIARA doesn't crash out. I hope that KIARA is going to really open her eyes and see that there's another aspect of this connection, and that they're going to have to go deeper in order to keep that bond as strong as it needs to be, you know, as well. So hopefully KIARA doesn't crash out, but she rather sees it as an opportunity to be like really connect with Jay again, as well, and get deeper and just maybe be a bit more vulnerable and explore visions, goals, ambitions, future long-term goals, and compatibility and what they see for their life in the future. It should stimulate those conversations as well, hopefully, in the future. Let's leave those two there as well. Great date by them too. I loved seeing them as well. Let's get to who's the other person? Okay, Cam and I'm gonna do Cam and Ciara, and then I'm gonna end with Cam and Rose. But Cam and Ciara, their situation. Look, let me just say, Ciara. All right, Ciara. Let me get to this. Okay, cool.
So we decided.
They decided she was still ready to love.
I felt like I.
So look, we want to get to the.
Okay, so Ciara almost was kicked out of the show, but she managed to stay in the process. Shout out to her. Now, can I be honest with you? It's funny because Cam has managed to get underneath the facade that maybe Sahara is actually is carrying. And that's really important, right? That Cam has done something, and I think it's because Cam relates to Sahara and the persona. I think also because Cam also, if we go deeper, I think there's a aspect of Cam that is detached. And so I think that also helps him to be able not to be as invested, quote unquote, emotionally, and to look beyond the facade and go behind. And he sees Ciara, and he's saying Ciara, but Sahara. He sees Sahara in a different way. You know what I'm saying to you? And I think what we're seeing is that Sahara puts on this front of being yeah. But then he actually went on to say that actually when you go behind it, there's a soft woman behind it, which tells me that, okay, there's a story then. So Sahara, you got to this place because there's a story. There's something deeper that you are dealing with. And that you put on the mask and the guard to keep you to attract people, but it also keeps people away. And so I said, okay, then Cam, you're seeing something because you understand it. And more than likely, it's because you mirror the same behavior. Because we knew that Cam was also a distance as well, because Cam was also doing something where he himself wasn't able to be as open with people. Today on this episode, he opened up with Tay, Rocky, and Hussein. But the reality of the situation is Cam has been said to not really open up, and he has commitment issues. Okay? Let's have a look.
Soft side of me. I want you to show people that you have other sides to you, because that's what other people was not seeing. That's all.
Okay, Cam. The men's perception is absolutely bull.
Now, Sahara literally immediately said the men's perspective is absolute bullcrap. Can I be honest with you? Sahara gives me, and this is me personally, and maybe I'm also projecting a little bit here, so I want to be very honest, because, you know, we can always project here. Sahara's giving me sexual energy. And I think that's the block. So she's a little bit boisterous, yes, she's a bit loud. I feel like she is giving sexual energy. And I think Cam definitely identifies with that energy because it doesn't involve commitment. I think that's why Cam is so interested in Sahara and why he sees her the way he does. I think he sees himself. And, you know, people who carry a lot of sexual energy, that's often, they present that energy first because they want to be liked and not rejected. And they think that is their value. So if I offered it, that's what I'm good at. That's what I'm best at. And I think that aspect is what leads her a little bit. And the problem with that is that you then encounter people who are going to respond to that energy, but then it doesn't promote the commitment and the relationship you're actually looking for. Also, I feel in that space with Sahara and Cam has done something that's allowed, maybe he's allowed himself to be in a space where he can really see Sahara in a different way. But we see with Sahara and the way he deals with Rose, it seems a little bit different than it does with Sahara. I feel like he's going to be having to do project management with Sahara. Whereas with Rose, it just seems a bit more natural. Now, do I even think that Rose is the right person for him? No. But I do feel like that with Sahara, he likes the challenge. I think he likes the fact that she may be misunderstood. Okay? All right? I think he likes the fact that she's misunderstood. And I think that, for me, is where Cam is not serious yet. I think Cam hasn't healed enough to be serious enough about relationships. He may want to, but the behavior's telling me he's still not got the commitment bone. I like that. Now, Sahara needs to really actually be self-aware. She wasn't self-aware in the very first episode, and she's not self-aware now. You saying the men's opinion of you is trash, but the reality of the situation is you had the same thing in the very first episode. And you're back in that same position again. It's time to listen. That tells me Sahara is somebody who's hard-headed and she believes her way is right. She has not done the work to really look at herself and see in the mirror, how am I showing up? How do I show up in relationships? Look, if you're not going to be accountable and aware, you're not going to change. And when you don't change, what tends to happen is you tend to make the same mistakes over and over again. You tend to make the same mistakes over and over again because you're unwilling to observe the patterns and then say, let me do something different to change it. Your unwillingness to do that is going to cause you issues. Your unwillingness to do that is going to cause you long-term issues in relationships because you will believe that everything you do is okay and the person will tell you it's not okay, but you keep doing it. Now, maybe Cam can, as you say, put out the fire of Sahara, but will his patience outlast her behavior? That's the question. Right? That's a question.
Am I allowed? I don't feel like I'm giving homie vibes. I am ready to love, so stop playing. Don't sit me down here again.
You gotta take it seriously. Like, I have to break down.
And she actually, you know, she got a nice, listen, she's a vibrant person, bro. It's just the way that she delivers it and the way it lands. That's all. You know, she's a vibrant person. It's just the way it lands. And it may, like I said, this may not be the show for her in the sense of the men that are wanting her. But yeah, there's something deeper that she has to work through, I think. I think if you can't be that aware of how you show up, you've got to do a little bit more deeper work. Sit down, pause, and then get into it. Okay? All right? I love that. Okay, let's talk about, obviously, Cam and Rose. I want to talk about this because I left this to last because I really felt like this was something that I wanted to talk about. I loved. This is like if you're on a date, this is the kind of energy you want to have. You want this kind of energy on a date where you guys are just smiling at each other. You want that enerenergy.
You know what? I think I'll try your scallops.
I have the oysters. Thank you.
They say that's aphrodisiac.
Why you know that?
Because I do my homework.
Okay, what's crazy is that we're going to talk about vaginas and then talk about prayer. Crazy. But look, less of that talk. Can I be honest with you? Okay? Here's the thing. I love their energy. That is what we talk about, reciprocal energy. When someone likes you, you know. See, all that chat from women saying about how you can't fake it. The energy that both of them have tells me they both find each other attractive, at least. Both of them were grinning from teeth to teeth. She doing that. She doing the hand over the mouth, leaning back, head almost in the clouds. Yeah, you can't fake that energy. They both find each other attractive. Now, whether they're going to make long-term partners, I don't know. But when Cam obviously said about, yes, eating oysters, she made a sexy, made a sex joke about looking like vagina, as well, right? So I think Rose, although Rose, and I'm going to say this again, although Rose carries herself with so much class and dignity, I think she carries herself with a little bit of sexual energy. I think she carries herself with a little bit of sexual energy. Okay? I say that to say, not in a positive terms, not in a way that it's necessarily so bad, but in the sense of what kind of men it attracts. She's a very beautiful woman, very attractive woman. But when she started making the jokes, I was like, it wasn't sleazy, it was good. I just said, I wonder if she leads with the sexual energy though. Because the reason I'm making that deduction is because of the fact that she gets cheated on. I was coming there. And I asked myself, if you keep being a denominator in a situation where you keep getting cheated on, we have to look at why she keeps getting cheated on. Something is a miss.
Believe in giving up. Okay. I believe in my happily ever. I've been cheated on by every man I've been with. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't lose hope. I don't lose faith because I understand you gotta keep getting off and dust yourself off and try again.
Okay, if she keeps getting cheated on, her discernment's off. Yeah, I'm sorry. She's nice, but your discernment's off. Okay? All right? Your discernment's off. If you keep choosing people that are boundary breakers and boundary steppers who are cheaters, we got to stop saying, but I'm a great person, but no, stop. You need to reassess as to why the men keep cheating on you. There's a reason. You're the common denominator. Because not every man cheats. If every relationship you've been into that they keep cheating on you, something is afoot and something is a miss. Now, one thing that is really interesting, okay, is that the way she framed it is a problem to me. And we're gonna get deep on this one. The way she framed it is a problem to me because here's why. She framed it and said, in every relationship I've been in, I've got cheated on. Now, it may have cut and it may have edited, so I'm going to leave room for that. But because we didn't get that, I can't go on that. When she said she got cheated on by every man that she's been in a relationship with, first and foremost, her market value just went from there to and dropped. Yeah. Ladies, listen to me very carefully. If you are going to tell a man that every relationship you've been into, every ex you've been into, you got cheated on, okay, all right, your market value is going to drop. Simple as. In that man's eyes, your market value in most men's eyes is about to drop. Here's why. You got bad discernment, which means now if you choose me, your bad discernment continues. Yeah. Why is it that the men don't see value in you? And why am I seeing value in you? It's called social proofing, right? We do it as social proofing. Like if everybody kept on saying that this thing is not valuable, when you look at it, most people are going to say, oh, that must not be valuable then. Do you get what I'm saying to you? That's number one. Like if you look at, if I take this thing here, right? Now this cost, I think 40 quid. I got it for free from YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. They gave me it for 40 quid. For free, sorry, right? But if I go on it, if I get this and everybody I see has this, and they get it and they throw it away, right? It takes a very special person to see beyond what everybody's seeing that this is a throwaway product, right? But most people, when they see the product, because everyone throws it away, they're going to look at it as what? Less value. Now, we all do this, by the way. It's not just a man thing. When you go into a shop and you see the price is unusually low, do you not ask questions as to why is that thing very low? Right? Intrinsically, we apply value to things. So if you get a Jimmy Choo shoe, yeah, you get a Gucci bag, and you suddenly see it's $100, you are going to ask the question, is it fake or is it real? Did it fall off the back of a bus? Like, is this person a crackhead? Why is it that they, what? No, why? Hold on. Intrinsically, we believe that everyone should have value. And so as a woman who's very beautiful, you should be of a certain value. And so your market value has been set depending on how you physically look and how you come across. So Rose, naturally, this is why she's getting cheated on. Because her outer appearance, right, is that she is of a certain value. Let's say this now. Her value is $100, right? Her outer appearance is $100. Beautiful, good looking. She's tip-top shape. But something about her energy, her boundaries, the way that she deals with people, her niceties, the way she operates, drops her from 100 to 50. The problem with that is that the man goes, I thought you were here, but you're here. And what tends to happen is when there is incongruence with your behavior to your value, outer shell, right? Men tend to take advantage. The bad men do, you know what I mean? Because what they're seeing is there's an incongruence between what your value seems to be and what you actually show up as what your actual value is. You don't value you enough, so why am I going to value you? If I go into a shop and the shopkeeper says it's 50 cents, why am I paying $2? I'm not. I don't care if he's undervalued it. I don't care if the shopkeeper tells me that it's 50 cents, but I know it's worth $2. Everybody thinks they're going to get a bargain and a deal. But how do you treat that product when you buy it for 50 cents? How do you treat that product when you buy it for $2? So when she told that story, that immediately dropped her market value. Does that mean that a woman shouldn't tell a man that her relationship history? No. She should still tell it. Here's how she has to say it. The issue that she has is that she hasn't learned. That's her biggest issue. That is why her value will keep on looking like it's incongruent. Because she hasn't learned. Because her ending line of the story was, you know what? I just, and she said, I've been cheated by everybody, but I just keep believing in love. Where's your accountability? See, for men, when they're listening, they're going to listen for, has she been accountable? Has she actually learned? Right? So the issue isn't her telling him that she got cheated on. That isn't the issue. Otherwise, what the rule would be, don't ever tell a man that you got cheated on. No, that's not the rule. That is not the rule. People say that, but they're not realizing what's happening. We're going to find out later on. That's not the issue. The issue is that you haven't learned. And you're not accountable. And men can pick up on that because of the way you tell the story. That's where your value is going to go back up again. We know that even if you hide it, later on, your behaviors are going to align with the fact that you got cheated on. You're going to be jealous. You're going to be insecure. You're going to be, emotional. You're going to be always checking up on me. Your behaviors are going to show us that you got cheated on. So it doesn't make a difference whether you tell us or not. She has not learned. And you know that because she wasn't accountable of her story. Here's what she should have. This is how you reframe. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've really learned, you must reframe. Okay? Let me give you an example. When a man tells you a story about how he cheated, if he doesn't tell you a reframe of what he learned and how he got there, don't trust him. He's going to cheat again. He's going to cheat again. Right? If a man tells you, oh yeah, I cheated in my past relationship, but I'm a different man now. How? See, a man who learns that he's cheated in the past and realizes what mistakes he's made will tell you. He's proud to tell you. Don't even ask him how he's learned. If he doesn't add it, more than likely, he doesn't know and he hasn't changed. The same thing with a woman who tells you, I've always been cheated on. If she can't tell you, you know what, I was cheated on in all my relationships. And I realized that, you know what, in those relationships, I lacked value of myself and my own worth. I questioned it. I realized I didn't have boundaries. I realized that I was letting men get away with a lot of things. I wasn't on things. I wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. And so therefore, this is why I was in those situations. I knew that my discernment was off. I was choosing men that lacked integrity. I was choosing men that lacked saying what they meant. That's somebody who's learned. When you don't apply the message, I know you ain't learned. I know you ain't learned. This is what I mean by being accountable. The person's able to really understand, this is where I came from. Oh, I understand it. But if you're not able to give that explanation, more than likely, you ain't understood it. Because we explain what we understand. Right? So her story wasn't an issue. It's the way she responded after. I think also as well, the reason why men are going to lower that value, right? when it comes to and Rose, is that men are looking at the patterns of choices you're making, and they're judging your choices of men, and they're wondering, that poor judgment, has she learned from that poor judgment, or is she going to blame the men? That's an unaccountable person. Do I want to be in a relationship with that person? Maybe you're attracted to bad boys. Okay, cool. But why is it that you keep going for bad boys? Why is it that you keep seeing bad boys? Why is it you keep entertaining bad boys? Why do you keep dating? That's what they're going to be thinking, right? Number two is that they're going to fear there is an emotional baggage that you're going to carry. If you've been cheating in all your relationships, again, like I said, if you've done the work, you'd have explained it. The fact that you've been cheated on so many times, okay, so you're probably going to be carrying that baggage around now. And if that baggage you're carrying, then I'm going to feel the effects of you carrying that baggage of hurt and pain. Now you might have trust issues. You might be emotionally guarded and insecure. Right? These are things you're going to be thinking. There's a negative perception. Instinctively, men do this as well. We blame you. And my mic playing up again. I'm probably too loud. That's probably why I'm too loud on the mic. Instinctively, we blame you. Right? If we feel like you are somebody who's been cheated on several times, okay, and you tell a person a story, they're going to be like, how did you encourage their behavior? How did you allow these men to walk over you? How did you allow these men to keep doing this thing to you, right? It may not be it's not your fault you got cheated on, right? But you're part of you're responsible for your own life, and you're responsible for how you show up in relationships. And if you keep having the same result, then there needs to be a change in the behavior. Okay? Number 4. They fear that you have they fear also that you might have an unhealthy relationship style of doing things. You may be toxic. Okay? You may be toxic. So maybe there's something that I'm not seeing right now. Maybe there's a behavior that you're doing that I can't see right now. So you're sweet now, but something's happening. Something different is taking place. Issues are happening. Maybe I can't, you know what I'm saying to you? So it forces him to reevaluate and go, oh, I got to see it again. Maybe, and you see, the one thing that, it's crazy. The one thing that will turn a man off heavily, one of the things that turn a man off is heavily, is if they see you and they're like, rah, you're beautiful, you're good looking, you're this, and then the confidence doesn't match. It's the biggest turn off. It's better that they look at you and go, you know what, she's okay, but the confidence is skyrocketed. The worst thing for most men is going like, oh, she's a baddie, but then her energy doesn't match the baddiness. That for men is a heartbreaking thing. Now, there are men who don't mind that because they don't mind mistreating you and they don't mind cheating on your ass. But the man that really wants you does not want the discrepancy between your confidence and your beauty. If you're a beautiful woman, he wants to see that confidence. Don't let there be such a disparity between the two, an incongruence. You know what I'm saying to you? Right? If that's the case that you're a beautiful woman, work on the inner sides of yourself. Work on your confidence. Work on your hobbies. Work on your trust issues. Start working on the inside of yourself. You're going to need it. This is why beautiful women, especially in the celebrity world, get dug out and played badly. Because actually, they haven't worked on the inner them. So when they are choosing somebody, they're choosing somebody because the reflection of this is what the men see. When they get a hold of them, they don't see what's within them. They don't see value. Do you get what I'm saying to you? You either become too hard or too soft, whichever one of the two. You're too guarded or you're too loose in your boundaries. And so oftentimes these women suffer, especially in the celebrity world. Now listen, men are going to cheat. We ain't going to stop them. You know what I mean? Right? But choosing the right person, you have to do the work within so that when you are looking out, like, the Bible talks about work out your salvation. In the sense, what it's saying is show that you have these muscles. And the way to show that is not by me flexing. I don't have to flex to show you I'm muscly. You will see it on my natural body physique because I've worked it out. If you are loving of yourself and you care about yourself and you put yourself as number one, it will show outwardly. It forces people to respect you. It forces people to respect you. because they can see that you love yourself. They got two choices: love you or get the heck out. But when there's parts of you that you don't love and you don't care about, you start making concessions, and then you start looking at a man who also can make some concessions, and usually those concessions aren't the good things. Oh, I'll love him too because I know he got some faults in him, some faults that I ain't gonna be good. I know they ain't got some faults in him, but I'm gonna cover him. Why are you covering him? Because you haven't covered you, and you want to cover him. Hopefully that he'll cover you. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it's really important that it's about what you've learned. It's about that growth. It's about that transformation. It's about your mind. It's about your inner heart. It's about the healing. That's what's going to make you even more beautiful on the outside. But that's what's going to make you congruent. Imagine you meet me with all this wisdom I'm talking to you about. But when you meet me, I'm just down on earth. I'm just down on life. It's unattractive. You're going to look at me differently because I've already put out a perspective that I'm of a high value. This is why I actually had to go and do the work. This is why therapy was important. Because this is actually what happens. You look at me and you put a value on me. And you say, he's got high value. Okay. But then you talk to me and then I'm always like, well, it's always bad. It's always rough. It's always this. It's always that. I'm just negative Nancy. You're going to look at me differently from now on. Because you had a perception of my value. You were expecting to pay this amount. And now I'm not paying that amount. I'm a little bit scared. Is it really worth the value? What else is missing then? So let there be congruency. Let there be consistency in that for you as well. Okay? All right? We like Rose. Rose is amazing. She's beautiful. She's a wonderful woman. And you saw how she came in a room, just vibrations on high and good energy. But if that good energy doesn't match good energy within, not saying that you're not a good person, but doesn't match boundaries and the value system and the worthiness that you have for yourself, I'm telling you, you're always going to end up in bad relationships. Right? All right, listen, my time is up, guys. But I really, really appreciate everybody here. Shout out to Minx as well, who became a new member. It's good to see you in here as well. Shout out for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Ari, thank you for you sending the memberships as well for people as well. And for those of you who've been watching, we had 200 people in the room today. We've got a super panel a little bit later on as well. So 8:15 p.m. we will be having a glorious, wonderful super panel, which you guys will be a part of. And we'll have a conversation with other panelists about what they saw on this particular episode. I wanted to say this as well for those of you, I haven't opened up my practice full on to coaching just yet. I'm still doing some of my coaching as well. I'll open up in, I think, middle of March. Not yet, right? I want to just get myself situated. And this time around, I've just changed a few things as well for the coaching, so it's better for you guys as well. But I want you guys to know that, listen, if it's something that if you're in a season right now where you feel like either you're getting prepared for a relationship or for marriage, you feel like you want to start dating again, you feel like, maybe you are dating, but maybe there's some things that are happening that you're not really sure of, this is a really great time to reach out to me. And let's begin to journey together to begin healing, growing, and transforming. Last year, we had over 300 people we saw. We saw over 300 people. And we walked through a lot of different issues and worked through some of the deeper attachment issues. And we're going to do that again this year. But I've learned some more things as well to add on to you about communication and how to communicate, how to have difficult conversations. We're going to really work through that in a more practical sense as well. So if you are looking for a coach, looking for coaching, looking for healing, I want you to reach out to me. It's going to be before it gets busy, because I'm sure in April when I fully open it, they're going to book me out again. And by the grace of God, you know what I mean? So I look forward to seeing you guys as well. But look, I gotta be out. We're gonna be back in a few hours time. Shout out to you, LZ, head full of hair. We appreciate you as well. But yeah, we'll be back a little bit later on tonight. And then tomorrow we have Love is Blind at 5 p.m. EST and 3 p.m. EST. I'm gonna be with El Cid as well, talking about Married at First Sight Australia as well. Okay, so we're here to help. Okay, we're here to help. We're here to make sure that you guys can also grow as well. So let me put my you want my coaching link, let me put that in there for you. Okay, because we're gonna help you guys. Okay, So I'll put this link in the chat. And for those of you who also missed the first round, so many people missed out the first round. The first round, we actually opened it up and said you can pay whatever you want. We've now put a price on it. You know what I'm saying to you? Okay, we've now put a price on it. So if you missed out the first round, what I'm going to do for anybody who coached with me the first round, if you coached with me and you had a session with me, what I will do is I'm going to try and put a code on so that you guys can get a discount for the next set of coachings that you guys can do. I really want to be able to, like I said, help as many people as I can. It's not just about making money, it's about helping people first and foremost. You know what I'm saying to you? Obviously the price has gone up because we've learned more. You know what I mean? But I want to be able to help as many people as I can. Okay? So please make sure you guys are liking, you're sharing, subscribing, and you're clicking on that wonderful bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again soon. Much love.